Yes. There we go. Going live, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. It's the Rad Man. When you hear Backspin with that beat, with that fabulous beat, you know we get ready to talk sports of all sorts for the next hour right here on WLGZ HD2, The Beat 105.5, Rochester, New York. We're coming live through the speakers, talking sports of all sorts. We got an awful lot to talk about in the world of sports today. But first, we always salute the Buffalo 10. May 14th, 2022, will never a day of infamy. We will never forget the Buffalo 10. We'll never forget the struggle that we still going through. And also, we're working now. Make those meetings, send your emails in of what you think, how the Buffalo 10 should permanently be honored. What kind of honor should they be receiving? That's going on right now. But keep in mind, we'll never forget the Buffalo 10 or what happened at that top supermarket in Buffalo, New York on May 14, 2022. Also, near and dear to my heart, a couple years ago, we lost a young man, Ron 2, with sickle cell. So please give to the sickle cell anemia program, sickle cell disease. The blood drives. Whenever you hear about them, give to it because we're losing some of our young people. Older people, especially, we hate to see our young people, but Ron Walker II, over there in Buffalo, New York, 2 years ago, made his transition from the disease, and we dedicate the show to Ron 2. His parents, Ron and Joyce Walker of Williamsville, New York. You know, we know heavy hearts. I know you heavy hearts on this day, and he was only in the early 30s. Want to give that shout out to Ron Walker II. Definitely. Also, we want to make sure Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, pick up your insurance. If you need auto, home, health, and life insurance, check out Miriam Rivera for the insurance needs that you may need. Check her out. Make sure that insurance is ready to go. And also, Challenger Community News. Pick up Challenger Community News. Challenger is the largest weekly African-American newspaper in all of Western New York, covering Buffalo, Rochester, Niagara Falls. This week, the Clarissa Street reunion got a nice article in there on Maxie Maxwell. Before the Rad Man was in Rochester, New York, Maxie Maxwell in the late 70s helped bring the Challenger Community News to Rochester, New York. He was diligent. He was a Mason. You learn all about him in this week's Challenger Community News. A lot of you people remember him. Maybe feel free. We're going to drop off papers today at the Clarissa Street reunion. Pick up the copies there at Clarissa Street. Most businesses in the African-American community, City Hall, County Office Building, Monroe Community Hospital, and Strong Hospital. Many locations in the community to pick up Challenger Community News. Pick it up. Read about Maxie Maxwell. Rochester, read about your history. Learn about your history. There's a lot of things that Black people were doing here in Rochester way before most of us was even born. So check out about Maxie Maxwell. And most importantly, go over to the Clarissa Street reunion today. Learn about the Black history of Rochester. Learn about how they put 490 in that cut off the Black community, a very successful Black community in Rochester, New York, that was thriving, had all our own businesses. The Velat people with the restaurants, the corner taverns, the laundromats, the own stores, groceries, everything, right in our community, right on Clarissa Street. So stop on down there, learn about our history. Yeah, learn our history, y'all. We may not be getting it in the schools properly, and you're definitely not getting it down there in Florida with that clown down there running things, that joker down there. But here in Rochester, New York, learn about the Black history, learn about your history and what's going on in the communities right. So participate, Clarissa Street today. You got part 2 of the Rochester Summer Soul Music Festival. Check that out. I heard Big Daddy Kane turned it out last night, and I'm sure the groups today, Silk and Troop and all of them, will be coming by to turn things out today. Even though it's a little chilly, hey, just come on down there and support the outdoor events. Wear your, get your hoodie on. I have my hoodie on. Come on out and enjoy the shows, enjoy the fine entertainment. And hey, we got J-GILLZ, a co-host, J-GILLZ at Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing? Good morning, J-GILLZ.
Hey, what it do, Rad Man? Good morning. How y'all doing, Rochester 105? What up?
Yeah, what's up? Hey, congratulations is in due. We understand you have a new addition to the family. Can you tell everybody What's about this new edition?
Oh man, much appreciated, Rat Man, for that. Yes, J-GILLZ got a daughter, Braylon Victory McGill. She's here in the building. She's home, doing well, and born on August 14th, 2023. This Monday. So the McGill family, we blessed and highly favored to have her here, and man, life changing experience.
Congratulations on that bundle of joy. I know you're gonna have your hands full, and I know you're ready to make things happen with her here. And I'm sorry, your missus' name again. I'm bad with names. Your
Of
wife's
course,
name?
my wife, Brandy McGill. She gave birth to our baby girl, Braylon Victory McGill, Monday the 14th. Just blessed. We blessed over here, George.
Yes, you are, and congratulations, Brandy, because I know you did a lot of the work. You did most of the work, as they say. As they say, you did most of the work, and so you should get most of the credit. So let's give it to you, Brandy. Hope you resting comfortably and feeling better, feeling the whole 9 yards and the joy of the newborn. And congratulations to the Jalen McGill family. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And we got games coming up tonight. Of course, we got more and more NFL action. We're gonna cover some MLB later in the show, but we're gonna cover NFL training camps. What's going on with not only training camps but these preseason games? And we're ready to head down to Houston, Texas. And before we go to Houston, Texas, remember to follow the Radman on Twitter at George Radman. Also, like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube at Real Deal Sports Show. Hit the bell icon to receive notifications, because keep in mind, y'all, it doesn't cost a dime. It's free. Just hit the notification button. Subscribe to the show, Real Deal Sports Show. So if you miss it on Saturday mornings from 8 to 9, you can catch it anytime at your leisure throughout the week. And you can catch past shows of Real Deal Sports Show. If you want to catch up on some of the fine guests that we have on the show, you can see some of the past shows of Real Deal Sports Show on YouTube. Real Deal Sports Show. Hit the bell icon to receive our notifications. Subscribe, follow, and like to the shows on Facebook as well. You can go to Real Deal Sports Show on our Facebook page. Also, you could also go to George Radney Facebook page as well. Also, so keep in mind, there's many ways to see the show each week. And now, without further ado, we're going to go to Houston, Texas. We're going to find out what's going on with this rookie quarterback and what's going on with the Houston Texans preseason games, training camp. Welcome from the AdMax corner. We welcome AD Adolphus AD Moore. Welcome to Real Deal Sports Show, AD.
Gentlemen, what's up? What's up, man? Hey, how you doing, man? I'm doing outstanding, man. This is the best time of the day for me, man. Like Frankie Beverly say, the golden time of the day, because it's still cool. It hadn't hit triple digit yet, so this is the only time I can get up and enjoy it and not melt like hot chocolate out there as soon as you hit the hit the atmosphere, man. But hey, number one, George, as always, let me always acknowledge the Buffalo 10. Man, you can never forget. You talk about the historical significance of people can never forget why and when. You need to understand the W's, why, when, and what. You need to understand all of it, and because if you fail not to understand it, you will repeat itself. J-GILLZ, congratulations on the new baby. I mean, tell mama thank you for having a baby on my birthday. I appreciate that. I know that wasn't in the plan, but she had to go with it. But you know what? Congratulations, and man, many. I pray that this young child will grow up in a manner that y'all will see fit and be another productive person in the country to make this country live out to be what its true meaning, that all men are truly created equal, and not unlike the disaster say is down there in Florida. That we learned some skills, whatever. But I digress. I'm sorry, George. I know we came here to talk about the Houston Texans. The Miami Dolphins been in town, man, for the last couple of days, and it has been an interesting camp. Here's the reason I'm saying that, George. Prior to the camp, camp had been going on, practice in the morning. Everybody's been getting through, and so finally, last week we had a couple of dust up in practice.
Okay.
And D'Amico Ryan said, finally, because after a period of time, man, guys got tired of looking at each other, got tired of hitting each other. And so we we had a dust up, and so I emphatically asked D'Amico. I said, "Are you anticipating this chip action? To be as chippy?" He said, he said, "No, I'm not looking." He said, "We're not coming out here to fight. This is not to be a fight deal. This is something to get work done." He said, "But I'm finally starting to see, you starting to see that inertia of this team starting to come together, that building process, and finally they got somebody that they can see another team they can go against, and that's what they've been doing the last Tuesday and Wednesday Wednesday and Thursday this past week. The Texans have gone against the Miami Dolphins in joint practices, different drills and so forth, and they closed it out in just like a ball play, sort of like a controlled scrimmage at the end of each practice. First day, Jalen Petrie, because the Dolphins had sort of taken two passes down the field. One of them going to Tyreek Hill had gotten down to the Texans 5-yard line, and all of a sudden, Tua was the quarterback, and Jalen Petrie jumped the route and came 95 yards back, and that was the way practice ended the first day of practice. So everything has been going good, and now everything will culminate today at 4 Eastern, 3 Central time on NFL Network when the Dolphins and the Miami Dolphins and the Houston Texans will play the regular season preseason game. So that's basically it in a nutshell. Just a couple quick notes injury-wise. Terrell Armstead got carted off Thursday. Now, not sure what the extent of the injury. We have not heard, but and Titus Howard had already been out, with a hand injury. The reason I'm bringing those two tackles up, because these probably two of the tackles that have come from HBCUs, and one of them, Titus Howard. Remember the late Max Edison that in that draft 5 years ago, that was his feature story. And Titus just happened to be the number 1 draft pick of the Texans back then. And and then Terrell Armstead, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, with the Saints, and then he's moved on down to the Miami Dolphins. So those are a couple of interesting side notes that I was sort of watching, well, at least Terrell was, and watching the camp and so forth. And so it's been an interesting camp, particularly to watch these teams go practice against one another in the controlled environment. It's something that D'Amico Ryans wanted to see. And, and one of the questions I had put to him was, from a substantive standpoint, what did you get more out of it? He said, really, the practices have been much more of a benefit, for us in, because they can script it. They pretty much have gotten together with Mike McDaniel. They scripted a lot of the things, and then they got a chance to put players in situations just to see exactly how they were going to respond. Plus, they got a lot of stuff on tape. Some stuff that you're probably not going to necessarily pick up in a game, but you got a chance to watch it and go over things in practice. So that's it in a nutshell, Joe. Didn't mean to rattle on, but I was just trying to go ahead and give you the shotgun blast version of it.
That's very good. Jalen, do you have any questions for AD? Because your Dolphins are in town.
Oh, absolutely. That was a great update, AD, especially with the Teron Armstead situation. However, that right leg injury wasn't too bad. He did get carted off the first play. However, he is looking to be playing in the first preseason game. I'm sorry, the first game of the season. So we're still looking good there. But I did want to know, AD, how is Damian Pierce looking, and Nico Collins, the two rookies, the standout rookies from last year? How are they looking in that backfield, and is that something that fantasy players should be looking at?
Without a doubt, Nico is a big, tall target, and then Damian Pierce, man. It's in fact, I would advise folks to either go to I got a clip of Damian Pierce either on my Instagram, the AdMax Corner Instagram page, and then it rolls over to the Facebook. Also, AdMax_More64 on X, Twitter, whatever Eli decided he wants to call it for that day. He paid $44 billion. I guess he can call it whatever he want to call it. But anyway, but those guys, yeah, I think from a fantasy standpoint, definitely Damian Pierce should be somebody's big fantasy pick. Nico Collins as well. Now, Tank Dell. Let me put this name out there for a lot of folks up there, that the fantasy players. Tank Dell. don't put that back in your little quiver. So when those of y'all, when you're getting ready to go to the fantasy draft and start drafting, don't forget Tank Dell, young man, the leading receiver, come out of University of Houston, and he has been just tearing up camp. He's had a fantastic camp, whether either receiving slot, had him in the slot, they got him returning punts and everything. So Tank Dell is another name that you probably want to just keep in your quiver, and you're probably gonna see some of his actions. See it today, later on today.
Wow, that's some good feedback right there. And you mentioned Tua. How's Tua looking? How's that first unit of the Miami Dolphins looking currently?
Well, let me tell you something. Tua gets the ball out quick, man. I mean, George, I'm glad you brought him up, because that was one of the things and I think so goes Tua, so goes the Miami Dolphins. That that's it in a nutshell. Tua and the fact that left hand, you see majority of the quarterbacks in the National Football League are right-handed, and Tua is on the snap of that ball. His release is uncanny. I mean, he has probably one of the fastest releases you ever want to see. So if you plan on getting a Tua, particularly on a 3 or 5 step drop, you better be coming for the ball and snapping. You still might not get there in time. I mean, in my opinion, he's looked that well, man, in practice, man. So but then, like I said, Jalen Petrie got him that first day that first day of practice when they closed that camp, when he brought it back 95 yards on him, though. But hey, that's the breaks. That's the way it goes, man.
And how about your rookie quarterback? I see he got a wake-up call in that first preseason game when he tried to run and the edge rusher came from the side and just laid him out, flattened him. I said, "Welcome to the NFL, CJ."
Hey man, look,
that
George,
was a hit. That was a
here's the deal, and here's they said that Bryce Young, in fact, not only CJ has, but just as some just rookie quarterbacks in general. You hear this term say that this kid is NFL ready. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest lie ever told. None of these kids are NFL ready till they get into the camp, until they get put into the situation. And I think to CJ's credit, he had a makeshift offense. They threw him in there on the 2 series with a makeshift offensive line because Titus was out, Laramie Tunsil was not in. You had Shaq Mason wasn't in, so you had a lot of different guys. You had a lot of different guys in there, but he did get his baptism, and like you said, none of those runs he used to make at Ohio State where he would take the ball down and thought he had daylight, and daylight turned to darkness real quick on him.
Because he got laid out. I said, yeah, he's gonna learn. Think he's gonna learn from that. Watch the film. That you don't run in the National Football League.
You see at this point, man, how each day, I mean, when there's a mistake made, he's automatically processing it and putting it in his memory bank and he's coming back again, man. And so it's a process in action. I mean, all his passes perfect. Oh heck no quarterback is. I mean, we're not looking at Aaron Rodgers yet. Not in see. Could he surpass? That's only to be seen. But the young man is out there putting the work in, and he's doing any and everything, man. So it's been a unique surprise to see him. But on the opposite side of it, Will Anderson Jr. Mm-hmm. Ooh, get ready, NFL. Get ready. All I'm telling you. Get ready, in the words of get your popcorn and get ready to watch this young man play, because he's gonna bring some smoke, heat, and everything else.
Will Anderson, is he playing in the middle linebacker, or is he an outside linebacker? How are they using him? How are they using him so far?
He's got his hand in the dirt, man, and he's loving
really?
it. No, he's got his hand in the dirt. They got him at defensive end, and I mean, that first step, and Unique, I asked him about his first step in his hand placement. This kid his motor runs. I mean, he's gonna be fantastic. And in fact, he's spending a lot of time with Jerry Hughes, man. working on things outside of practice and just working on and just sort of just sitting there soaking up. So he's sort of like Jerry's being Master Yoda, and he's sort of like being that young sensei that just sort that's sort of falling behind, and he's soaking up the knowledge from like a Jerry Hughes or Jonathan Gradner. So yeah, those guys, man, it's going to be interesting. Excuse me. I think that the Texans going to surprise some folks. I'm not saying they say they're going. I'm not saying that they're going to come in there and going to just go to the playoffs. But I tell you what, this is going to be a totally different team. Excuse me.
Oh, that's all right. Look forward to it being a different team and seeing CJ start and probably Davis and Mills, who was the starter, as the backup. Or you think if something come up, they may bring Mills in because of his experience, and you think that might
happen? Case Keenum. I mean.
Oh, Case Keenum. Case
should have kept, man. Case Keenum. Hey, man. Case Keenum has been like. Case Keenum is just like a walking encyclopedia out there for those guys, man. Yeah. So I think he's probably been the biggest addition, not only for CJ but for Davis Mills as well. I think he's just been that source of knowledge and that source of things because that was one of the things that happened after camp, and that particular clip is out there on the X or Twitter, whatever they want to call it, and I got a part of Case Keenum, and because I asked him exactly what happens in that quarterback room, what is he injecting in the quarterback room? Because he had a nice little smart, cute answer, but he said it's a lot of things that when they sit around in that quarterback room that these guys are just taking off of each other, and he said I'm learning from them, but he said they're definitely learning from me, Davis Mills and CJ Stroud.
Exactly, and we're going to miss Case Keenum up here in Buffalo, especially if something happens to Josh Allen this season. Because I thought Case Keenum would have been a perfect to keep him another year because of that, his knowledge and also his mobility. We got a Matt Barkley here that looked good in the preseason, but that's against guys that's not going to be playing in the National Football League in a few more weeks. When you get the live guys in the live season going, Matt Barkley's a statue. If he has to come in there. And then guess we got your boy Kyle Allen. I don't know why the hell we picked him up. He's a straight up bum, man. Kyle Allen, man, he's throwing interceptions in practice. AD was he man? This guy's a bum, man. He should be selling real estate or insurance or something, man. He looked like a salesman, man. He don't look like no. He don't even look close to being an NFL quarterback.
Hey, look, let me tell you something. If you can still pick up a paycheck in the NFL, particularly on the quarterback standpoint. Right. I mean, and there are plenty of guys that journeyman quarterback are still picking up paychecks. Hey, I tip my hat to them. Whether you appreciate their talents or not, the fact that you can still survive and still be a backup quarterback in the National Football League, because let's face it, George, after you get past, say, the top 8 quarterbacks in the NFL, you don't have a whole lot after that top 8, because that top 8 are on the teams that's going to the playoffs or will be in the playoffs. Okay, so
exactly,
there are not 32 great quarterbacks right now in the National Football League. At best,
how did Kyle Allen perform for you guys the last couple of seasons?
What was our record, George? What was our record? Come on.
What did you what? You guys won what? 2 games, 4 games? Did y'all win more than 4 games last year?
No,
I'm not sure.
No, well, I am sure. I am sure. No, we didn't.
He didn't get a chance to play.
No, I mean, let's face it, man.
Right,
hey, we can. Hey, there's only one way for the Houston Texans can go up. Okay, up, and so up. That's it. Only
with
way.
Better talent. With better
talent.
Yeah, and you got veteran guys.
Yeah,
exactly. And you got, go ahead.
Now, with the likes of a Jerry Hughes still here, which I mean, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. Jerry looks like a spring chicken out here now with these group that they got in. The attitude, this defense, there's no such thing as snap, hold and read. This defense, particularly that front 4, is snapping the ball. They are attacking. They are coming across the line of scrimmage. Nobody's sitting up there holding the block, trying to read, trying to figure out. No. They're playing. Their attitude is we playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and that back seven, particularly from a linebacker standpoint. And here's another. Christian Harris and Henry Toto, both Alabama graduates, alumnus of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think
Right.
as it stands right now, man, we probably have, this is sort of like Alabama South, and then with the Houston Texans, with the number Alabama players is right now, particularly on that could very well be starting on the Texas defense, man, with Will Anderson, Christian Harris, and then Henry Toto, man.
Wow. With all of that and what you've seen so far in practices, and obviously it's early, what do you think is a reasonable record for them this season? What do you think would be reasonable?
If they win, I tell you what, they could conceive of 5 to 7 games. They win 5 to 7 games, man. D'Amico Ryans ought to be coach of the year.
Okay.
And the conceivable, I mean, it's conceivable because here's the thing about it. They invested in the offensive line. Laramie Tunsil, Shaq Mason. They gave Titus Howard. We gave him a new contract. So you basically have you got roughly over $100-some million tied up in 3/5 of that offensive line. You got Juice Scruggs. He'll be the starting center for the Texans out of the 3rd round draft pick out of Penn State. Let's put it like this. I would hate to have to fight this guy in a phone booth. Now I know. Let me explain what a phone booth is, because I know some people out there going like, "What the hell is that?" That used to be something that you and I used to use. It's a little.
That's right.
We used to go in, put a coin in, and use the telephone. I know that I just have to use that as a reference point. In fact, some of y'all might have to go Google that because they still don't understand what we're talking about. But if I had to be in a fight in a phone booth with him, I tell you what, I'd rather have him to be on my side than to be against me. And I'm very impressed with Scruggs who will be the starting center. Then they got Kenyon Green will be the other guard on the other side. So once we get Titus back, I think this offensive line is gonna have to carry him a while, but the defense is definitely gonna be out there ready to strike many times in many places.
Absolutely.
AD,
Absolutely.
that's a bold statement, but when you're talking about the 49ers, the D'Amico Ryans, and that coaching staff is really what did it. And now you're talking about the Houston Texans and this offensive that you're putting together, offensive line and these pieces. How do you think Bobby Sloan, the offensive coordinator, is going to do, knowing that D'Amico's on the defensive side of the ball? What have you seen? Any creativity in the play style, the play calling? We talked about earlier some of those young pieces on the offense. You're alluding to the offensive line, but how is this play calling going to go with Bobby Sloan calling plays? I'm assuming for the Houston Texans.
No, you don't have to assume. He will be. He's going to be the play caller. I'm gonna tell you something. Bobby is. You look at Bobby, and you sort of want to go ask him. Let me see your driver's license, because he looks like a kid still be in high school, man. But he's shown quite a bit of creativity. We hadn't even scratched the surface. Excuse me, we hadn't scratched the surface yet on what Bobby Sloan can do with this offense yet, and with everything that can be developed out there. I think we just starting to scratch the surface, and then with CJ, with all the other tools. Now, I still think, and I mentioned Tank Dell, but I still think weapons. Everybody needs to have weapons, and so I'm looking. I'm just optimistically looking at they're going to present some challenges to some teams out there if the offensive line holds up, and it's going to have to hold up.
What's the offense going to look like? I know Sloyd, he has a history of being the pass game coordinator. He started out as a defensive coach, was the pass game coordinator for the 49ers. Do you think that CJ is going to be throwing a lot?
I know. I think you're going to see us running the ball. We are going to run the ball. There's going to. Now, when we have to pass the ball, we're going to throw it, and we're going to throw it. I think we're going to have some innovative pass routes. Because, let's face it, it's not going to be ain't going to be any different pass routes than you've already seen in the rest of the National Football League. You've seen it at Kansas City. You've seen Minnesota. You see it up there with your guy, with Josh Allen, with the different routes that they have, with what they want to do with. So, the thing about it, nobody's expecting anything out of the Houston Texans right now, okay? So when you and that was the unique thing about the Dolphins. The Dolphins are sitting there with expectations written all over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because at the end of the day, who is it going to be? Is it going to be the Buffalo Bills or is it going to be the Miami Dolphins coming out of that division?
Or the Jets, another high media
Yeah.
team.
Well, let's face it. You think can Aaron Rodgers by himself do it? I mean, who's he going to be throwing to?
Yeah, well, Garrett Wilson, he got some good wideouts, but that offensive line is a shambles right now. That line is going to be the question mark for the Jets. And I'm like you, I think the Jets will be in third place with New England fourth, or New England may be ahead of the Jets by when it's all said and done. But I think it's Buffalo, Miami's division to win. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Jets are just. It reminds me of the Brett Favre days. He's just too old. He got there at the end of his career. And the line is just not that good. And I hope Green Bay doesn't give up their Bakari. I would not give Bakari to the Jets. There's no way I would let that guy go to help your former quarterback have a better season. There's no way, no how that the Green Bay Packers should not do that. Help Jordan Love out, protect Jordan Love, and get your team in order. Don't be trying to give more pieces to the Jets from your squad. So it should be interesting to see how that all transforms. AD, in closing, anything else in closing? How can people get a hold of it? We have it on the screen too on our podcast.
Yeah,
you can see
all right, yeah. Here we go
on
X Twitter. I'm at AD_more64. AdMax Corner on the YouTube channel. Then you also on the platform, the Houston Raw Ball Review platform, and also Instagram. That's the AdMax Corner Instagram now. So, George, I mean, like I said, I'm expanding my base from a social media standpoint, and really, I've been doing a lot of shorts after each day in practice. You know, you can go to my YouTube channel, and in fact, you can actually go to my AdMax Corner page, .com, admaxcorner.com, and still see my YouTube, all the things that I put out there on X, Twitter, whatever, and also on the YouTube shorts out there as well. So, and I've gotten a tremendous amount of folks have been picking up those shorts. Those shorts have been amazing, man. So, in fact,
I'm glad.
One of my best deals with the John Mechie, who last week he caught his first pass after coming back from cancer. He caught his first pass after 2 years. Up in New England, man. So a great, I mean, just from a human interest story, this kid is back. This kid didn't even know he was going to be living for a while, and now he's back catching balls in the NFL.
Wow, that's a great story. So people tune in out there in Radio Land. Check out AdMax Corner. Check out our Dolphins, more AD as we know him. AD, thanks for coming on Real Deal Sports Show, and we're gonna have you back again real soon when the bullets get real, when they kick it off on opening day. We're gonna have you back, and we're gonna get back into what's going on with the Houston Texans
and likewise, man. You'll be getting featured down here as well, Jordan and Rad, man. And like I said, and appreciate everything in 105 to beat up there, man. Hey, folks, appreciate it. Thank you very much. And hey, man, peace. And like I said, let me go and try to enjoy this cool air for a little bit because it's already above 80 degrees already.
Oh, my goodness. Go ahead and get down. If you ever get tired of it, come up here because we're already in the 60s at night, man. We back. Man, it's almost ready to turn the heat on. I don't want to do that yet. I don't want to turn the heat on yet, but, man, it's getting close, man. We back to wearing hoodies up this way. Only hoodie we wearing is the UV rays just to block the sun off our butts, man. Come on. Hey, have a great day.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all take care, man. Texas, hey, congratulations on that daughter, man. Take care of it, Jays.
Thank you, AD. Can't wait to see you in Vegas, man.
We're looking forward to it, man. Y'all take care, man. Be blessed, man. Take care, Buffalo. Take care, Rochester. All right. And that was AD on Real Deal Sports Show. And remember, Miriam Rivera Insurance, Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance. Check her out. If you need health insurance, you need homeowners insurance, you need car, auto, home, health, life insurance, you give our friend of the show, Miriam Rivera, a call. Stop by the businesses over there on 1080 Lyle Avenue, and also the Bean Road location. Check out Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency. And she's a sponsor, one of our main sponsors of the show.
And we're coming up next. We're going to be going right up. We're going back. Guess what? We're going back to Houston, Texas. Back to that heat. 80 degrees already, y'all. Hey, people in the Rochester, Buffalo area. Hey, it does get to be 80 degrees down there in Houston first thing in the morning. And we're going back to Houston Round Ball Review host, Khris Gradner. Welcome back, Khris Gradner. How you doing, Khris?
I'm doing great, George. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Great. We had to get you back on the show too because there's so much going on, and I know J-GILLZ going to have to leave in a few minutes. J-GILLZ, y'all gonna let you jump right in and get your questions in before you leave for Khris Gradner. Oh, maybe he did have to go already. Okay, I knew he had to roll. All right, we're back to me and you and backspin. But Khris, what's going on with all these teams changing conferences? What's going on?
College football makes college sports go around, George. It's a mess. It's a shame. I think in my opinion, let me know if you disagree. In my opinion, the fact that Condoleezza Rice, a professor at Stanford, elite academic institution, is lobbying for Stanford to join the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, which is across the country from Stanford, for football. That's what it's mainly for football. A professor of higher education is pushing for Stanford to become a member of the ACC. What are we saying? Well, no, it's there's more proof in the final nail on what I think I've said, what you've said for a long time. College sports, college football is semi-pro football. It's big business. Stop saying it's amateur athletics.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lie to everybody else. Just call a buck a buck. This is big business. But can you imagine Stanford football, Stanford athletics being, they're trying to get into it. I'm not sure if Florida State, Clemson, and the Carolina schools will vote them in, but want to be a member of the ACC merely because that's the highest payout for them, rather than a closer conference like the Mountain West.
Right. So it's all about money.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, yeah. Why would you want to go to the ACC? Because that doesn't sound right. Why would you? I know the Pac-12 is just fell apart. I guess everybody trying to get out of the Pac-12, which is a shame. That was it was a very viable conference at one time, but as soon as USC and UCLA decided to leave, you knew that was going to be the end of the Pac-12 because they carried that conference for so long. Forget about the Washington State's Oregon State rivalry games. Those are big games out in those markets only, not across the country where people even care who won those big rivalry games when they play each year. It was always USC, UCLA, and now they're moving east. Well, why would Condoleezza Rice be putting her points in for that? I'm be making comments of that nature. I'm really surprised at that.
She was a committee member of the BCS when they were selecting teams for the BCS, bowl game, things like that. So she does have some expertise in sports and some knowledge in sports. Right. But she and George Bush, George Bush is trying to get SMU to join the ACC. That's a little closer, miles-wise, to the ACC. He wants to get out of the American Athletic Conference, but they're trying to get more money. And the irony is, the reports are Stanford and SMU are willing to take less money from the media rights deal from the ACC, but it'd still be more money that they get from what's ever left of the Pac-4. But the whole point of it is, stop telling everyone you are all about the well-being of the student assets. Oh, my bad, the student athletes.
Right.
When you are pushing and lobbying to have the rest of your sports, not just football, but the rest of your sports, traveling 3,000 miles to participate in baseball, volleyball, swimming, everything else, simply because of football. Go ahead and just separate football from the NCAA. Just go ahead and do it. If the powers that be want to get this done, they get it done. They're making excuses. Well, and George, this is one of the things I read this week, heard this week. Well, if that happens, if football separates itself from the NCAA, who's to say why would they continue to contribute money to the other sports on campus? George, where who are the Buckeyes, George? Are they the Ohio State Buckeyes or are they Podunk, Ohio Buckeyes? They play on campus, right? Right? They play on campus.
Right on campus, yes.
So
yes,
unless they don't want to continue contributing that money to their other sports, they can move off campus, but their brand name is still Ohio State.
Right.
So you just tell everybody, as long as you're playing on campus, as long as you have our school name, you will continue contributing to the other sports. That's not hard, George. That's not hard.
No.
They're just choosing to make they're making excuses to perpetuate this lie that too much of the college sports fandom have swallowed whole. Oh, well, you can't do that because of this. And they rationalize all this stuff now, Stanford in the ACC. Well, that's because that's the way things are now. No, it doesn't have to be. It does not have to be that way.
No. And so because of the greed of these schools, so they're sacrificing their other sports teams just to get enough money. So obviously it must be enough money involved that they can afford to send their teams, their soccer teams and softball, baseball, and what have you, gymnastics all across the country to that they're making, that it will still offset the paying that kind of money to send your other sports teams way across country to play during their regular seasons in their conference games.
You would think so, but at some point in the future, it's never going to be enough money. You got the Big Ten schools that will soon make $70 million per year in this new media rights deal, and ultimately up to $80, $90, $100 million per year in media rights deal. You know what they're going to end up doing about 10 years from now? Well, this is not enough money. We need to build more buildings.
Wow.
We need to pay our football coach $20 million a year to justify all. Come on, George.
Yeah.
It's just more sense. Excuses. Why is Rutgers, who moved to the Big Ten or joined the Big Ten because of more money, higher payout than what they were getting in the Big East, why is the athletic department in a massive deficit?
Wow.
Mismanagement.
Yeah, why is that? Mismanagement.
That's what it is. Mismanagement. That's because you make 20, 30, 40, $50 million a year. Does that mean you need to spend 30, 40, 50, 55 million more than what you come on now?
Right. So mismanagement. So you're starting to see schools mess that money up already.
Cal is a higher academic institution.
Yes.
Their athletic budget is a mess. They're in a deficit. $40, $50 million at least annual deficit. UConn is in a deficit. That's one of the reasons why UConn wanted to join the Big Ten in all sports, because the money that they would get from the Big 12 would help cut into their deficit. Because as a member of the Big East, you're only getting like $5 million per. Well, UConn's athletic deficit, is like $40 million.
Wow, that's a lot. That's an awful lot to have that type of deficit. Wow. So you're starting to see people scramble trying to make up these deficits because they're mismanaging the funds. Wow.
Yes. Rather than making cuts.
Sports is going.
Yep. Big business.
Right. Make the cuts instead of in big business. And speaking of big business, how about let's go over to NBA. How about James Harden? Why is he trying to come back with you? Come back to see you down there in Houston, Texas, and play for the Houston Rockets. What's going on with him?
That door is shut because of James being James. More and more, he's really ruining his legacy in the NBA. Rocket fans, many of them, not all of them, many of them were tired of his act and how he left the Rockets the first time. And he forced his way out of here. And he famously said, "We're not good enough." And he wanted out of the Rockets. Then he did the same thing with Brooklyn.
Right.
Now he's calling Daryl Morey a liar. Now, I'm not sure what
Daryl Morey I thought that was said. His guy.
Daryl Morey was his boy. Daryl Morey let James Harden do whatever the hell he wanted to do here in Houston for years.
Right. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know what Daryl said to James or what James thought Daryl was promising, but apparently that did not happen. I don't know if it's going to be a new contract this summer, if it was an agreement about to be traded to the Clippers, whatever. But James in China on one of his business tours, y'all seen it, y'all heard it. Daryl Morey is a liar.
Yep.
I will never be a part of an organization that has Daryl Morey as part of it. Called man a liar twice. The Sixers and Daryl Morey like, well, they expected it. It's not going to change their trade value, their trade point, because James Harden has no leverage, George. If he sits out training camp for more than 30 days, he cannot be a free agent next summer. This is the last year of his contract, so he has to report to training camp at some point. He has to, if he still wants to be a free agent next summer. Philly knows that. The Clippers know that. Everybody knows that. So, you know, Joel Embiid's like, y'all better fix this because I'm not going to be here much longer.
Oh, Embiid. Yeah, now he's getting tired of it. Okay. Fix it. So, wow. That's a lot to know that he doesn't have a leg to stand on, but he's overseas calling the man a liar and everything, obviously because he can't get his way.
That's it exactly. He cannot get his way.
Wow. That's amazing. That guy, and he's the type of guy, he's never really been the same since he sat out in Houston, and he seems he done put on too much weight. The weight that he's playing at is you can see it's just not conducive to his skill. He was so much better when he was a lighter, thinner guy. Yeah, he's carrying too much weight around.
You know, as the case for many of us, as we get older, we put on weight, and it's harder to lose some of that weight that you put on as you age.
Right.
But James Harden seems to be more about the money rather than winning a championship.
Yeah.
You know, you can say, well, I want to force my way to the Clippers. That's not necessarily a best chance to win a championship. George, you got a chance. One of your teammates in Philly is one of the best big men in the NBA. You got a rising star in Tyrese Maxey. That could be a great big three. Oh, no, I don't want to be here. Nope, I don't want to be here. I want to go somewhere else. The actor's tired, man. I don't know how many fans he still has in the NBA. I'm sure he still has some diehards. James is my guy, but I know he's lost a lot of fans the last few years with his act.
Right. His act is just ridiculous. When you see a guy like LeBron James almost in late 30s keeping himself in tip-top condition and works, it's obvious LeBron James has worked hard every year to keep his body together. And you see this guy just don't seem to care and just show up out of shape, got to work himself back into shape. And he's never really worked himself back totally into shape to where he was before. He's just not, he's a perfect example of a non-dedicated professional athlete. He's not dedicated to the game. He's enjoyed the riches of the game.
To his brand, yes. That's what it's become. Brand.
And the other guy, Simmons, is Simmons going to play again? Is he still with Philly? What's going on with Simmons?
Oh, no, he's part of the trade that got James to Philly. So he's in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow. He's over there still. Okay.
And he's still there. I'm not sure if the back issues have healed. He was dealing with, the anxiety and the mental part of the game as well. But we'll see. Wow. I think he's going to play this year. But for the most part, Ben did make some public comments, but Ben Simmons, as far as I know, he never called Daryl Morey a liar in public.
No, he never did.
He never went that route.
But James Harden. Hey, I want to thank you, Khris Gardner, for coming on and bringing us up to date on the James Harden situation, and also on what's going on with the NCAA with the greed, and now we wasn't aware that you got athletic departments with deficits and things. In this era, nobody should have a deficit in their athletic department funds and things of that nature. So we appreciate the update. And how can people keep and follow up with you, Khris Gardner?
Thank you, George. I'm still on X for the time being at THEHR Review, but more and more I'm on Instagram and Threads at Houston Round Ball Review. So it's different than the Twitter handle. Houston Round Ball Review on Threads and Instagram, and of course the website HoustonRoundBallReview.com, and Houston Round Ball Review on YouTube as well.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for your time, and we're gonna catch you out in the coming weeks. We're gonna have you back to catch up on what else is happening with the NBA Houston Round Ball Review. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, George. You take care.
You too. Have a great week. And as we get ready to wrap up, I want to get a quick MLB, Major League Baseball. Wander Franco, the best player on the Tampa Bay Rays, is on the restricted list. looked like he had some issues down there in the Dominican Republic with a young lady that might be an underage or minor. So they're looking at that right now. That's why he's not able to play. He's put on the restricted list until this investigation is over. That's the Tampa Bay Rays' best player, Wanda Franco. Keep an eye on that. But also keep an eye on the Tampa Bay Rays. They've lost their 4 best pitchers, including their best pitcher, Shane McClanahan. He's going to be out for the rest of the year, and most likely all of next year, having Tommy John surgery on his pitching arm. He's out. He's had Tommy John surgery in high school. Now he's going to have it again, and they're talking about he may not make it back into 2025. Shane McClanahan, but the Tampa Bay Rays are an amazing franchise. The amazing Rays, I call them. They still continue to win. They keep winning. Their farm system is elite. These guys have a strong farm system. They don't have 3-4 other pitchers come up, keep them in games, and now they're starting to get more offense. They won a thriller last night in Anaheim against the Angels. They had a triple play put on them by the Angels in the 7th inning, but then in the 10th inning, when the game went to extra innings, the Tampa Bay Rays came through in exciting fashion to win that game last night, 9-6. That was a hell of a ball game last night. Tampa Bay Rays continue to play ball. Keep an eye on them. The Baltimore Orioles, man, the Orioles just shining with all that young talent. They continue to win games. Baltimore and Tampa Bay look like it. My Blue Jays, we having trouble once again. The Yankees, man, they're in the basement, man. The Red Sox, they struggling. Look for Tampa Bay and Baltimore to be the class acts of the conference of the American League East. Houston Astros, Texas Rangers out there west. Back there in Texas again, the Rangers playing great ball. So baseball is really starting to heat up. Enjoy the game tonight. One other point, Dwayne Haskins, Estate. They finally get a partial settlement on his tragic death there when he was run over by a dump truck there in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. His estate is going to get a partial settlement on that case, so at least his family can at least have some type of financial settlement from the passing of their son being hit by that dump truck. Former quarterback with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Dwayne Haskins estate. They get a partial settlement. Enjoy the game tonight, Bills Steelers. Keep an eye out for a lot of those guys I told you about, Jordan Mims, running back Jordan Mims. Check out Shavers, the wide receiver. Keyshawn Johnson, another good wide receiver. These are guys that probably make the practice squad. They probably won't make the main roster. Khalil Shakir is in a battle. Keep an eye on Khalil Shakir in that slot. He can't be dropping balls. You got to make those catches on those easy ones as well as the difficult ones. Right, Backspin?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can't be dropping the easy ones and make
it difficult. In my opinion, as much as they get paid, you can't drop nothing. If it touch your hands, I'm old school. If it touch your hands, you should catch it. You know, that's the rules I live by when it comes to football.
There you go. That's right. That's the way it should go down. Absolutely. And last but not least, your Cowboys. Any comments on your Cowboys, Backspin?
Nah, I got no comment, man. I'm just waiting for the season to start, and you know, I don't want to fan any flames right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just wait for the season to start, see how Dak performs, see how our wide receivers hold up. I'm looking to see how Cook performs. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe he can free up and give CeeDee Lamb a little leeway and less coverage. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see, man. We'll see. I think our defense is where it needs to be, but we'll see about our offense.
There you go. That's the key thing. See about the offense and see how things go. Well, great. Well, hey, we'll be ready next week. We're talking sports of all sorts, and we're going to have more action because it's getting closer to cut down. I'll have my cut down list. I think who the Bills should cut after next week's, as we get into next week's show. Enjoy the Bills-Steelers game. Keep an eye on the offensive line. See Mitch Morris at center. Ryan Bates, I think, should be the center. Look at the guards. The guards are going to be key. Oh, Cyrus Torrance. Let's see what he can do out there. David Edwards. We got the tackle position, Quisenberry, Spencer Brown. Got a lot of good battles on that offensive line to see who the starting 5 will be for the Buffalo Bills on their offensive line. Sound like the Houston Texans getting their line together. The Bills got to get their line together as well. Right, Backsman?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. And I appreciate you, George. The Fanatic, J-GILLZ, Rad, man. Real Deal Sports Show every Saturday right here on the Beat 105.5, man. Have a great weekend, George.
All right. And remember, be a good sport.
Sir, keep it locked right where you got it. Rock City, the Bag of Time Mix Show is on the way right here on the beat.